The elevator stalled so gently that at first neither of them noticed. The motion softened, paused, and then settled into stillness with a quiet hum. The lights stayed on. No alarms. Just the realization that time had slowed without asking. She checked the floor numbers, pressed the button again, and exhaled. He glanced at the panel, then at her, offering a calm smile that felt grounding. "It'll move," he said, not as a promise, more like reassurance he also needed. They stood a respectful distance apart, strangers sharing a temporary inconvenience. She noticed the scuff on his shoes, the crease in his jacket that suggested a long day. He noticed the way she held her phone without looking at it, like she was choosing not to escape. Minutes passed. Silence stretched, then softened. He asked what floor she was headed to. She answered, then surprised herself by adding why. Not the full story, just enough to feel honest. He shared his reason too, and somehow the elevator became a small room where truth felt easier than politeness. They talked about work that didn't fit anymore, about days that ended too late, about how being in motion all the time can make you forget where you're actually going. The elevator didn't hurry them. It listened. When it finally jolted back to life, both of them laughed, a release, a reset. The doors opened on her floor first. She hesitated, then asked if he wanted to grab a coffee sometime. Not dramatic. Not urgent. Just an invitation offered in the space that had held them still. He said yes like it was obvious. They didn't rush out together. They didn't exchange long goodbyes. But when the doors closed, each carried the same quiet thought: some pauses aren't interruptions. They're introductions. Sometimes life stops between floors, not to delay you, but to place someone beside you long enough to notice. They didn't talk again until the coffee happened, and even then, it felt like a continuation rather than a beginning. A small cafe near the building, neutral territory, nothing that asked too much of either of them. She arrived first, chose a table by the window, and wondered briefly why she cared if he was late. He wasn't. He showed up exactly on time, like someone who paid attention to small things. The conversation picked up where the elevator had left it, mid-thought, mid-curiosity. They talked about how strange it was that vulnerability had come so easily in a broken box between floors, and how much harder it sometimes felt in wide-open spaces. He admitted he'd almost avoided asking her out, afraid that the moment had been too specific to survive outside of it. She confessed she'd felt the same and ordered another coffee just to buy herself a few more minutes of certainty. They began seeing each other casually after that. Walks after work. Short dinners. Messages that didn't demand immediate replies. What grew between them wasn't intense, but it was steady. Comfortable without being dull. Curious without being urgent. They learned each other's rhythm slowly, respecting the pace that felt right. One evening, months later, they found themselves back in the same building, waiting for the elevator again. This time, it worked perfectly. As the doors closed, she smiled and said it would be funny if it stopped again. He laughed and replied that some things only happen once, and that maybe that's why they matter. The elevator reached their floor without incident. Still, neither felt disappointed. Because what the pause had given them didn't belong to the elevator anymore. It belonged to the space they'd chosen to create together, where honesty was allowed, timing was respected, and connection wasn't forced. Some moments introduce you. Others teach you how to stay.